And welcome. It's great to have you on today. We've got a great day lined up for you. We have had such a phenomenal time. We've had some issues that have come up, but they're all good. And I'm going to tell you about them. I'm going to tell you about how important it is to understand when sometimes the electricity goes out, that you just need to improvise. So that's one thing that I wanted to make sure that we talked about. So I was able to get to a point where I thought I was going to be able to do the show yesterday, even after the power went out, because I was going to work off my battery and have the camera on my laptop work as I could. And I was gonna set the laptop up on top of an upside down laundry basket, and the laundry basket was sitting on top of the table, and then there was a milk crate sitting on top of the laundry basket. So there was a lot that was going to go into it, but once I got it up there and I turned on the camera, nothing happened. So we missed our good friend Sarah Wells yesterday, but we're going to have her back, and she's going to be back on April 12th. We're going to have Sarah on. She's the Olympian, and oh my gosh, she has so much to share. If you want to hear more, stay right there because we have a lot in store. Take care. Bye. See you soon. I'm coming right back. Welcome back to the Vision Alignment Show, where we all understand the importance of having our core beliefs, our core values aligned with our vision. I can't tell you how important that is, because if we can do that, we'll be more happy, more successful in everything we do. So that's why we talk about vision alignment. We don't have a guest today. The guest is me, and we're going to be talking about all that has happened with the School for the Blind and a few more stories. But I also wanted to give a shout out to my wife, who today is her birthday. And I can't tell you how happy I am for her, how proud I am of her, how blessed I am that she chose me to be her husband. Just an incredible woman. So she's done so much for me, and I look forward to continue to do much more for her in the future. So that's number one. Secondly is Sarah Wells. So Sarah Wells, we missed yesterday. We're going to have her back on April 12th. So look forward to that. And then what else do we have? Well, the electricity went out, so I didn't have a show yesterday. So I apologize for that. But, we're back, and we're strong. We're stronger than ever. So if there's ever anything I can do for you, just please let me know. As long as I have power, and as long as I can enunciate my words. Sometimes I don't always enunciate my words. That comes from this lack of feeling in my tongue, in my mouth, and I apologize for that. But that is who I am. So we embrace that. So that's that I wanted to make sure we talked about there. Other than that, the School for the Blind. amazing group of people. So I can't tell the number of people that I've met over the last 4 years that I've been working there, but there's been a number of absolutely phenomenal people that have changed really the course of my life, because they've helped me to understand what it means to be blind and what you can do even if you're blind. And take that even if out. Just say even. Just say if. If you're blind, it doesn't matter. They're normal people. I say that like they're third persons, or they're aliens. They're not. They're normal people. They just have normal lives. They experience normal things. So that's why it's important for us to really understand what it is that they're going through, and what it is that they're in, what's in front of them, in order for them to be able to be successful, and in order for them to be part of the community. So, I have a few stories that I want to share with you. One is a story of my buddy Brock. So Brock was an 18-year-old, so he's above the age that I can't say his name. So he's totally blind. He's now out of school, but I'll tell you, sitting with him and being with him, he was just a normal kid, and he wanted to just experience things. So one of the things that he wanted to experience was running club. So think about that. How do you enjoy running when you can't see? Think of that. You can't see anything. Well, if you have someone that puts you in a line, or in a lane with a rope, then you can hold that rope and hopefully not burn your fingers and run alongside the rope. That's one way. Another way is to have a sighted guide like me, which I'm sighted. That's funny. A sighted guide that will help you to run. So that's what we did. This one day at school, after school was over, we got together and we started to run. And there were a few other people that joined us. So, but for me, I was leading Brock. And we ran lap after lap after lap. We went around that school. We went through that school. And we just had a great time. He loved it. After we were done, I asked him, so what'd you think? And he was blown away. He never gets to do that. He never can run. Huh. That to me was really surprising, because he never had a chance to run. So he would do things. He would go back and forth between things, but never in a full sprint. Like we were going pretty hard. And to allow him to be able to experience that, it was eye-opening. And I can't tell you how grateful I am for that kind of experience, just allowing him to run, because he never had a chance to run. Amazing. Brock is definitely one of those kids that he is going to go someplace, and he's doing very well. Let's see, what else? This one is a story of one of our students, and she was out in the courtyard. Courtyard is the part of the lawn and sidewalk area that's in between the school and the cottages. The cottages is where the students go to sleep and live. So they live there during the course of the week. Anyway, so one of the students, it was after dark and it was snowing, and one of the students went out and they went to go to the cottage. But she got lost. And really there's nowhere, well, it's not easy to get into trouble. It's it's a confined area. It's fenced in, so we don't have to worry about any sort of danger from that perspective. There's also youth leaders that help to make sure that all the students are accounted for and that they're in their cottages at the end of the day. But this one student went from one of my clubs to their cottage, and they didn't get there. Well, I looked out the window from the school building, and I looked and I saw that they were standing in the middle of this open area, this quad, if you will. And they weren't moving. They were just standing there. And I don't know what they were expecting. I don't know what they were looking for. Well, I know what they were looking for. They were looking for the right way home, the right way back to their cottage. So I went out because it was cold. It was snowing. So I went out and I said, "Hey, come with me. I'll guide you to your cottage." So that's what I did. I guided them to their cottage. But after a while, their youth leader would have known they weren't there, and they would have alerted somebody. They would have sent out some people to look for the student. But I think it's important for us all to understand that sometimes we just get lost. And sometimes we just need somebody to show us the ride home, show us the way home. That's what this student needed. She just needed a helping hand. So I went out and gave it to her. Now, hopefully, we don't have an issue like that again where she gets lost and is not able to get her way home. But hopefully this is a growing experience where it's allowing her to be able to understand more about the school. So that's another one that is really a story that's touching and gives us some idea of what's going on there. And some other stories that I have are a little funnier. So, and by the way, if you're online, please put in a hashtag live and where you're coming in from. And if you're listening in a replay, put in a hashtag replay. And again, where you're coming in from. In your timeline, please put a picture of you winking. And when you wink, you begin to understand how important it is to know what makes you unique. And once you know what makes you unique, then you begin to know how you can use that to serve other people. So please do that. Put in a hashtag live, put in a hashtag of Brian with one eye, and a hashtag of winking with Wagner. And then tag me on that picture in your timeline. So please do that. Oh, and by the way, if you don't know, anyway, I have a membership site. And in this membership site, you have, they're not really newsletters, but they're frequent posts that I will send out. And in there, you will be signed up for just more information, more readily available information. So I have this site, and I'm going to put it in the comments section here. And if you go to brianwagner.live, that's how you can get there. So let's see. Kim Larson's, good morning. Good morning. I love to see you on here this morning. That's so nice. I appreciate you. You're the best. Let's see, brianwagner.live. So that is the membership site where there's no cost to it. You get to a point where you understand a little bit more about what's going on. I do hopefully frequent posts. I have these videos that I run, daily videos, and also work on speeches. So that's a big part of what I do too. Good morning, Kim. Thank you very much. Good seeing you. So that's another story that I have. Oh, back to where I was going with the funny stories. So there are funny stories that come from the school. Sometimes the kids, most times the students, they don't have a filter. So when I first started working there, I was all proud of myself because I'd done things. I had written a book and all this and that, and I was a little too high and mighty because I thought that I was going to provide some miracle just message to them. Well, the idea was that I provided daily experiences of what I go through, and that I'm just me. That's what they hired me for, was just to be me, not to be some high and mighty author or speaker or whatever. But I was having a conversation with one student, and we were talking about how I had written a book, and I was thinking I was pretty cool, and she says, "So, does anybody famous know about your book?" Anybody famous? What do you mean? Well, she related being an author to being someone famous and to being connected with other people that are famous. But I don't have anybody famous that's associated with my book. So, and now I do have one guy, and he's actually the guy that wrote the back cover write-up, and his name is Dan Miller. Dan Miller is famous in some regards, but not famous to the extent that anybody else would really know that name. He wrote a book called the 48 hours to the job you love, or something like that. 48 days to the job you love. So Dan's a good friend and has done an awful lot for me. So, but I wouldn't call him one of those famous people. What else has happened? So I've had another student come up to me, and we had a conversation. We were talking about what kind of music to listen to. So that's a big part of the School for the Blind is music, and they want to make sure that they have the music on their phones. And the phones is a whole nother thing. We don't have time for that. But allowing them to have music on their phones that's appropriate is one of those important things. Well, this one student, I had this conversation with her about my music and what I like to listen to. And I asked her, I said, "So what music do you listen to?" And she said, "Well, I listen to classical music." and I knew I shouldn't have asked, but it wasn't the classical kind of music as in violins and all that, but it was classical, like classic rock. And she said, I love to listen to Blondie. Blondie? That was from when I was in high school. That can't be classic. Well, it was to her. Oh, absolutely amazing. So yeah, they don't have filters. They don't know sometimes what they're saying. And yes, that slip or that comment about classic music is probably not that big a deal. But there's another student that I've been playing chess with. This is my buddy Carl. I think we talked about Carl last week or the week before. And Carl is the guy that he's autistic. He also has some sight issues, but he loves to be able to play chess. And so we had played chess for the last 3 or 4 years. And that was really one of the first things that came up, was me being able to play chess. Once I got to school, once I started this program. And so, when I came back to school finally last week or the week before, Carl was all about it. When can we play chess? I said, well, how about next week? So last week we played chess, and he had the greatest time, and so did I, because we were back to doing what we wanted to do. We were back to playing chess. So doing that is one of those things where it wasn't always about playing chess. It wasn't about winning the game. It was more about being together and sharing some time together and having a conversation. So I think chess is one of those ways where I'm not a good chess player, but chess is one of those ways where we can get to know one another and have a conversation. So that was one story that I had there. But I'll tell you the final story that I want to share with you is a story that is from the first year that I was there. There was really not many people around. So I work in the after-school program. So you typically after school, there's not a lot of people around. But there was this one student that I went to help her with, or actually, I don't know why I went. I just went with her to watch her get a pop. It doesn't seem like that big a deal, but with someone that's totally blind, to watch what they do and how they do it, to get a can of pop, it was amazing. So she comes up to, she knew, I don't know how she did it, but she knew where the pop machine was. Once we got the pop machine, then she knew on the wall to the right of the pop machines, there was a braille sheet of paper. And on the braille sheet of paper had written, Dr. Pepper, so-and-so, and it was A3, and it was 25 or 50 cents. And then if you went to the next one down, it was a Coke. And that was what she wanted. She wanted to get a Coke. And she read it, and she read it with her hands. Now, again, she's totally blind. She read it with her hands, what number it was, and how much it was. So she had a pocketbook, and she got out her pocketbook, and she could feel, quarters. So she knew what she was putting in were quarters, and she found where it was on the machine, and then she put them in the coin slot, and 50 cents, maybe it was $1, doesn't matter. But she put in the appropriate amount of change. She went down the machine, and she found A4 or whatever it was, and that was the number that correlated with the sheet on the wall. So she was going to get a Coke. She pressed the button, and out comes a can. Again, she has no idea what it is. She opens it up, takes a sip. She was mad. She was mad because she didn't get a Coke. She got a Dr. Pepper. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch someone get frustrated, but she was frustrated with not being able to get the Coke she wanted. All she wanted was a Coke. So, I mean, I had money in my pocket. I helped her out. I got her a can of Coke, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same because she didn't do it. At school, we try to teach the students as much as we can, and I'm not really a teacher, but to help them to do things on their own, to ask for help if they need help, but if they don't need help, then to do those things on their own. So there's just been so much that I've learned from the School for the Blind, and so much that really has helped me to shape my life, and hopefully to shape your life as well. But all this to say, sometimes life doesn't turn out the way we planned. Sometimes we don't always get what we want. Sometimes we get a Dr. Pepper instead of a Coke. And all you wanted was a Coke. Well, there's so much to be thankful for. I'm thankful for you all, and the trust and the information you've been receiving from me. Hopefully, it's been well received. If there's ever anything that I can do for you, by all means, let me know. I'm looking forward to reconnecting with you sometime soon, in person, I hope. But for now, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot, and keep one eye on the road.